And welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California. Another beautiful Tuesday. Or is it Wednesday? I'm losing track of time. Today is Wednesday. In fact, it's hump day. Middle of the weekday. And what did I want to call out? Dollar hitting our target. We called it. That's why it's so important to understand bullish and bearish divergence on the weekly time frame for the macro. Can get you some big moves. And in dollar terms, we are down from the high. Let's say you took the signal given right here. You sold right there. Down 2% so far, 3% if the first target gets hit, and 7% if the second target gets hit. I personally don't think we got enough juice to go down there. I think the 21 is going to be at least a short-term bounce. And does that provide the bulls a bit of a relief rally? I would say yes, indeed. Stocks and Bitcoin picking up a bit of a bid here today. And I wanted to follow up on our indicator we've been following, tracking with very, very nicely. The daily volatility versus momentum indicator. And I'm going to bring up 2 points here. One is, here's where the bull traps come in, right at the 1618 fib. And so what I would personally love to see happen is price action to do something like this. We broke the major trend line here. We come up to the 618, roll back down, test it at the 382, and then confirm it with something like this, any kind of a closure back above the 618. Very likely I'd be looking for a shot all the way back up to this green box right here. I do believe any kind of massive rally into that green box is going to be met with peril or at least some selling pressure. And that would be right in line with our 25% move or 24% move. That is our volatility versus momentum indicator that we've been following up on. And what is that again? The BBWP, Bollinger Band with percentile. As it expands, we expect the price to really produce a volatile move. And on the daily time frame, the average move from a low volatility read to expansion is going to be 24% on the CME. So on spot price action, we're above the 20 percentile right now. Spot has been leading this market, so I am as good for and we're above it on CME. So I'm saying the move is in force. I am in full force. At a minimum, expecting a 24% move to the upside as momentum indicators are positioned to the upside. We just got the daily closure above the green 55 for CMEs. And did we have some volume on that candle? We had a bit of volume, and we're coming into some volume right now as well. And I do imagine above this wick, probably going to get some more continuation at the very least. So here's the 0.5 coming in. If we pull back first, I would like that better than not, than just a straight shot to the moon. But what else did I want to bring up? Oh yeah, I was going to measure it out. 25% from the low. 24% from the low, from signal given. Let's call it from right here. 24% puts you right up to the top, just putting in another lower high. And as long as this region is still being defended, I am going to look at this as just another lower high, and very likely that move to be brought in with some selling pressure. However, yeah, so what is the measure move off of this descending triangle? I mean, it could get much higher, all the way up to 30% or $30,000 to fill the gap on the CMEs, which is coming in right here at $30,000, that gap. So we'd have to get some really bullish news over the next couple of days, and the dollar would really have to come down quite a bit more. So if the dollar does start heading down to the 104, 105 range. I would say that move, which would be precipitated based on some of the higher term time frames, like a 2-day. This signal can give you like a 40% move to the upside as this gets above 20 percentile. And this one, the 5-day, can get you, as volatility expands and regains the exponential above 20%, that could bleed into a 40% move. So what do I think is likely to happen? That's the big question. Bear with me just a second while I get my bearings here together. I know we're 5 minutes into this exciting cryptocurrency video, and I'm going to get to some news in a second, but I was just talking with a client about this, and what do I think is likely to happen from here as momentum is to the upside on all the major time frames, except for the 5-day. 5-day is actually crossed up. Volatility is at the lowest level ever. And that could, get you a shot up into that death cross on the 5-day, very similar to what we saw on Mr. Ripple on the 5-day. Why is it not showing there? But playing out that perfect death cross, anytime you come into something like that, typically going to get some selling pressure up there. What else did I want to say? So that would be more in line with that 50% move or 49% move. I forgot the exact average from volatility expansion, but up to the green 55, that's 47%. We'd have to get some very bearish news from the dollar. So what is the bull case here? And I'll bring up this article right now and then wrap it up with the price action. But momentum is building for creating a treasury bond-backed buying program. I mentioned it the other day. Janet Yellen is trying to marry the Fed and the Treasury. Yes, they're talking about, no, I'm not going to claim the offer. They're talking about using the Treasury to buy U.S. Treasury bonds instead of the Fed, and then doing price-targeted interventions, in a sense, limiting or putting a max price on different assets like cars or food or whatever they decide to do. Very, very not friendly, not bullish for human rights and freedom, if you ask me. But so that would be the bullish news. They're going to print more money. What's the other bullish news on the board here? It would have to do with the Japanese yen. Bank has confirmed they're going to continue to intervene with bond buying programs to defend their currency. They have $1.3 trillion in reserves. So quite a bit of ammo to boost up the yen, and still, I guess, keep their rates low. The euro catching a bit as well. Japanese yen and the pound as well. So that's the other bullish news in the market. That guy, Suri, whatever his name is, the new prime minister of the UK, he's come in there, put some calm in the market, said, hey, we're going to defend our bonds. So again, as the dollar pulls back, you'll see risk assets typically go up. And that's why NASDAQ was catching a bid here. Getting rejected off the 9 exponential on the 5-day, not looking good there. But does this move still have some legs? Volatility is expanding, will crack back down below 11,000, 1100. Here's what I don't like about this rejection so far is that we just came up to the 0.5. It could get up to the 618. But any kind of a rejection from this zone is going to be another lower high and probably followed by more lower lows. The S&P could test all the way up to this trend line. That's going to be the 618. But other than that, still looking droopy. And then, but it does align with a little bit more up here, a little bit more down on the dollar, and more upside on Bitcoin before we kind of reality sets in. I think that's the term. You know, we've got the November 2nd rate hike coming in, and you've got good old Joe Biden Well, let's not talk about the midterms, but let's talk about the approval rating. 55% of Americans disapprove of the president right now. So I don't think that lines up with a good Democratic out or win or whatever you want to call it in the midterm elections. So likely means more gridlock, maybe less stimulus. Maybe less stimulus than a good old Yellen would have wanted, and less rate hikes, less easing or willingness to ease in the future. So I'd say midterms, if Republicans take the House, it's more of a point for the bears. I don't think they're going to unwind this bond debt crisis and, one election term, if you ask me. But what else? We're getting the higher high on Bitcoin and polls. Okay, so the question is, where are we at in the Wall Street cheat sheet psychology of market cycles? So here's the hope phase. Here's the optimism phase. Here's belief. Euphoria, $69,000 Bitcoin. Okay, there's the 30% retracement. There is the lower high, complacency. And I'd say we already hit the anxiety phase. I think that's where we're at right there in the denial phase, right? We're getting this little pump, bear market rally. Oh yeah, the bulls are going to come back and defend this thing. I don't believe panic is set in. I don't believe panic will set in until we get below 17.5. I do think we'll get a bit of a free fall from that moment. And then this would be the bear market rally from 10,000 to 15,000. And then there's the 100% retracement. No, that's it right there. That would be the 100% retracement. And that's when you want to buy, guys. Capitulation right there, where you get the maximum, basically no buyers, only sellers, and there's only one guy that gets to buy the bottom of the market. Nobody knows where it's going to be or where it's going to go. But we have some very good indicators to tell us when something like that's going to happen. That's why you're following the show. That's why you're on here. And I imagine you're beginning to take notes and learn a few things. This is a trader's paradise, and there's a lot of money to be made, I would say, playing the trend. Okay, so that's it for Bitcoin. I will sum up my thoughts here with a 4-hour time frame. Volatility is getting maxed out. We are about to cross down below 20,700. So hanging on by a thread here. And I do believe if this does get declared as a local top, which it might have one more push higher. Let's see, what is the measure move off of this consolidation that we were running? This high to low. Could we get one more splurt up to 21,500? I do think we could before we kind of put in that higher low, right? What we want to see is, again, a breakout and a retest. Breakout, retest the support, and then shoot it up there to that 2618 fib right there. That's how I'd like to see this thing played out. But if the dollar just falls off a cliff like it is right now, I got my alert set. On the 4-hour time frame, if we take a look at markdown prices, target down here at 107.86. I think that's where I will draw my green box of peace and prosperity and death and despair and call it right there. Let's put on the little blue box here of peace and prosperity or death and despair for the markets. And yeah, I would say if we break this box, that is the peace and prosperity. And if we defend that box, well, it's not going to look good for risk on assets. Where does that line up on the weekly time frame? Let's see. Other thing to note here is bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. 1, 2. I'd count that as 2 drives, and that's why I am looking for the move to the 21. All right, I think that wraps up my thoughts here on Bitcoin and the markets. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, post a like, post a comment, ask a question below. Bullish or bearish. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Have a blessed day. Take care.